Hail friends, Raj here, aka the Wisco Horn Dog, back again to take a look at my progress for the 100% paint challenge. So it's been about a month since last time. A lot of stuff has gone down. I'm continuing to plug away on various projects. Now, so far, I've resorted to two different means to complete this challenge. First and foremost, the selling of all my unused models or models I'm not going to get to. So I did an initial culling back at the beginning, which kind of gave me my starting numbers. Now, the other thing that I've been doing is painting models, which one would expect from a 100% paint challenge type thing. Now, however, there is a third option. There might be even more options I don't even know about. But the third one is paying somebody or otherwise coercing somebody into painting your models. So that is actually what I did with my Flames of War stuff. So I'm not super big into Flames of War. Somehow I acquired a bunch of models in a trade from a good buddy of mine, J-Jack. I have kind of the budding kernel of a Finnish force. There's something about the Finns that has always intrigued me. I listen to a lot of heavy metal and stuff like that, which a lot of it comes from Scandinavia and Finland in particular. And then they have heavy drinking culture too, which intrigues me. I've always thought of Finland as sort of like the Wisconsin of Europe, which is probably horribly inaccurate, but that's how I've always thought of them. So I was kind of interested in the Finns just in general, and then the idea of playing them in a game of some sort, well, I couldn't pass that up. So I acquired these Finn models pretty cheaply, and like I said, I'm not too big into Flames of War. Like, I played a couple demos of it, and something about this scale kind of intrigues me, and it's kind of fun. The rules, the abbreviated kind of checklist board, it's like a double-sided kind of rules summary thing. Looks like a frickin' nightmare. But the way that it plays and something about it is just kind of fun. Like, I don't see this ever being really a tournament game for me, but something about it is just really fun. Something about the different scales. So I'm used to 28 millimeter, say I think it's 15 millimeter, just with the little tanks and the little dudes, and it feels really cinematic. Kind of feels like I'm doing something different than a standard miniatures game, just since I played so much Warhammer and everything else. Plus, tanks are cool. Everybody likes tanks, and the way that it plays out, I recognize that it is a game, but it kind of feels like the way that it's being played out is sort of how like a battle might actually go in World War II. So there's kind of like a simulation type appeal to it as well, even though I recognize it's pretty much just a game. But anyways, I have a good friend of mine, Mr. Andrew, the nerd. Well, he started out as Nerd Apprentice, and he always did work for me with basing and base coating models, assembling models, kind of grunt work like that. And he's worked his way up from apprentice to journeyman, and I think I promoted him, to a journeyman or maybe master or something like that a little while ago, because he's starting to churn out some really awesome models. And so I thought I would kind of come back to him and have him paint up these Flames of War models for me, as they're not really a priority, but it'd be kind of nice to have them and kind of break them out from time to time, a couple times a year, and just push around these dudes and just have a good time putting on the old World War II cap. So he generously agreed to assemble these guys, which I just had a little bag, and that might have been some of the reason why I wanted him to do this for me was I didn't want to have to go through that bag and actually figure out what the fuck goes on each base and kind of do all the research and figure out there's these little stands with 5 or 6 dudes, which ones go with which, because they're all kind of jumbled up. So he actually worked with Butcher, and who's I guess kind of my local Flames of War resource, Mr. Mikey B, Bitter Butch himself, and he consulted with him and got these dudes properly based, and then he got them base coated, hit them with a wash, and then I think he did a highlight as well. And for the scale, that's pretty much all you're going to do. And I think he did a little bit of extra work on the tanks, which really showed. But yeah, we can take a look at some of the work he did. So these are the finish, and really horribly butcher the pronunciation of this, but it's the Jelkovac company, something like that. So it's one of the 2 or 3 different finish forces. So this was put together with the late war in mind, using the Grey Wolf supplement. And so heat up 2 of these infantry units, 6 bases each, plus a little commanding unit. And I think they turned out pretty well for what they are. I don't know, something about the infantry I can't really tell, apart from any of the Flames of War factions. But I think he did a good job. They look nice and finishy. What I like about this force is it's pretty balanced, which I think the actual kind of finish forces maybe were. So I've got these 81 millimeter mortar teams. So 3 of those little dudes. And then I got the big ones, the 120 millimeter mortar teams. So I got 2 different kinds of mortars there. And then I have a anti-tank gun team, which is, I think these are 75 millimeter with a little command unit as well. And I think these guns turned out really awesome. I really like how they look. And probably if I was going to expand the force, I'd end up getting some more of these. I kind of liked how they played on the tabletop, and I think they look really good. They just look really cool. And then I got a T-34, just one of them that the Finnish people stole. And then I love these little T-26s here. They suck so bad in the game, but it's what they actually used, up until the end of the war. They would steal T-34s and whatever they can get from the Russians. But reading the background and everything else, the majority of their forces, as far as tank goes, even up until the end, they acknowledge were these T-26s. So I think I'm going to get some more T-34s, but I definitely want to get like 5 T-26s, so 2 more, just so they outnumber the T-34s, and I can kind of be themey or more historical about that. And then hopefully I can figure out some way to use them, assaulting infantry or something like that. I think at the very least, I could use them as a diversion, because you just drive those things out, and any tanks or big guns they just know that they can blow those things away in a heartbeat, and they won't be able to resist. And then so while they're getting horribly massacred, I'll be sneaking around doing something else, I think is the my little kernel of an idea. I haven't played too many games, so I don't know a lot of strategy as far as Flames of War go, but I'm super happy with the work that Andrew did with this commission job. And as a side thought, afterwards, after painting the tanks, he enjoyed himself so much that he was actually talking with Butch, and Butcher hooked him up with a bunch of tanks of his own. So might have converted another Flames of War player, perhaps. But I did get a game in with Butch. So it's still not like a full battle size. So he fleshed it out with some German infantry allies that they can get. So I do need to get a few more models. So as far as paint challenge is concerned, and this year I'm done with them. I haven't painted these, but they are 100% painted, my Flames of War. And they actually take me up to 55.9%. So I've broken the 50% barrier, which I think is pretty good. It may be long overdue, but a lot of people said I wasn't going to get here. But gosh, I proved them wrong. I shelled out some bucks to have somebody paint my shit. So if you are struggling on your paint challenge, always consider getting that shit subbed out to a good friend. I can't really see myself having a painting company or some kind of big name painter working on my stuff. But just for a tabletop level, and I think for that scale, I was okay with just having somebody do a basic job on those models. And because on everything else I've been doing, I've been having a hell of a time just doing a tabletop standard. I've just been doing basically, as good as I can get, or really close to some of my best work on my Saga and my Infinity models. So that is something we'll probably talk about in the future. But for now, I'm up to 55.9% thanks to Andrew. And I don't think he's taken any commission work, but I will put his contact info, his Twitter handle below. And you can hit him up. You can see. Hey, man, I like your Flames of War shit, bro. Paint some up for me. Maybe he'll respond, maybe not. Otherwise, that completes this paint challenge video. I am done with my Flames of War stuff, so that is super awesome. And we are going to be back pretty soon for the second culling of models. So I held on to a lot of Warhammer Age of Sigmar stuff, and I guess you'll find out what is going to be painted in the end and what is actually going to be sold. But that is a story for next time, my friends. Like and favorite this shit. Share this video if the friend likes Flames of War, or they're just trying to get by in their own paint challenge for a little inspiration. Subscribe to this shit. Become a hobby horn dog today.